Lata Mangeshkar's demise saw a huge outpouring of grief, tributes, and prayers from all over the world. Her death in no way means the end of her because her voice is immortal. And I don't think there is a day in our life that goes without listening to her voice at least once. But despite spending close to 80 years in public life, Lata Mangeshkar largely stayed away from being featured in the gossip columns. She stayed unmarried all her life, and while there were rumors featuring certain names, the singer always maintained a dignified silence on any reports of link-ups and romances. In a 2013 interview with the Hindustan Times, the singer opened up about the significance of love, marriage and children in her life, one of the very rare occasions she did so. Watch this video till the end to know some truly unknown nuggets of information that Lata Didi closely guarded through her life but did speak about it in a rare interview. However, during the HT interview, when she was asked about what role does love play in her life and who was the lucky man in her life, Lata Didi simply replied, "There are some things only for the heart to know. Let me keep it that way." Further in the interview, Lata Mangeshkar also spoke about people's notions that a woman is incomplete unless she is married and has children. She said, "People talk all sorts of things, so learn to ignore them, else it will be difficult to lead a happy life. The energies that are negative and depressing should be kept at bay. I have always done that." The legendary singer then referred to an interview of Amir Khan's former wife Kiran Rao in which she had talked about the same thing and said, "बहुत खूबसूरत बोला है उन्होंने. It's important to first find happiness and a sense of fulfillment within yourself, else the dream of being fulfilled only through marriage or children loses its significance." In another interview with former filmmaker and film critic Khalid Mohammed, she opened up about her life like never before. This was one of her last exclusive interviews where Khalid Mohammed rightly pointed out that Lata Mangeshkar was not just a legend or an icon. She was greater than that, a householder to an extended family, a spirited warrior against the recording studios who refused playback singers their due share in copyright, a lone combatant whenever she was wronged by the high and mighty of the music industry, and a single woman who scripted her own rules. Be it at her modest home in Prabhu Kunj at Pedder Road in Mumbai or the male-dominated recording studios. Called Hema at the outset, she was renamed Lata after Latika, a character in her father's play Bhaubandhan. He also recalls how Dilip Kumar had once remarked that her accent was too Maharashtrian. She then learned the intricate nuances of the Urdu language. Her struggle to break through persisted till she recorded Ghulam Haidar's Dil Toda Mujhe Kahin Ka Na Choda for Majboor in 1948, featuring Munawar Sultana and Khemchand Prakash's Aayega Aane Wala from the 1949 blockbuster Mahal that was picturized on Madhubala. Then subtly diving into Lata Mangeshkar's love life, Khalid Mohammed writes, "Out of sheer respect, I could never bring myself to ask her about her constantly whispered secret marriage to the late Raj Singh of Dungarpur, with whom she shared an avid interest in cricket. He would accompany her on world tours. During one at the Madison Square Gardens in New York, where I was present," he says, "I could sense theirs was an intimacy of close friends. Beyond that, conjectures would be like making scandalous claims to damage their reputation." In one of the questions he asked her, "Kya ख्वाहिशें और भी बाकी हैं?" or "Is there a sense of contentment and satisfaction?" To this, Lata Mangeshkar replied, "I do not consider myself as a reflective, brooding person. I would just end up tying myself in knots. Time has gone by in a blur. The beginning seemed just like yesterday. I have an overriding feeling of immense gratitude," she said, adding that she would want to continue to sing till her voice gives up on her. To this, Khalid Mohammed immediately asked her, "Then why do we not hear your voice in films anymore?" She snapped back, "Is that a question to ask? And rude. Sangeet filmon mein raha hi nahi." Then on a sibling rivalry with Asha Bhosle, she said, "देखिए, कुछ लोग ऐसे होते हैं कि वो आग लगाने की कोशिश करते हैं और कहते हैं हम दोनों एक दूसरे के गाने लेने की कोशिश करते थे." But she clarified the fact that I used to say no to cabaret songs, which then usually went to Asha. She even clarified about the accusation that she inflated the number of her songs to enter the Guinness Book of World Records. She explained that she didn't even know what the Guinness Book of World Records was back then, and so how could she inflate the figures for them? And she said they were the ones who invited her when she was in London. And she said that the figure of 25,000 songs and more was researched by the EMI music label and not by her. She even told him in that interview that the last film she saw was Dabang, And the detective TV show CID was her absolute favorite. Then finally he mustered the courage to pop the most uncomfortable question. He asked Lata Mangeshkar, "You have chosen to remain single. Do you ever feel lonely?" To this she said, "Only my mother would keep badgering me to get married." Finally she gave up on me. "My family means a lot more to me than marriage. That said, I wouldn't be a human being if I didn't feel lonely at times. All of us do, whether single or married. Loneliness and being alone can be damaging. Fortunately, I'm constantly surrounded by my loved ones." "Have you ever fallen in love?" he asked next to Lata Mangeshkar. "Only with my work," Pat came the reply. "Aur mere apne, my family, nothing and no one else," she said firmly. And finally he asked her, "If you were given one wish, what would you ask for?" To this, Lata Mangeshkar replied, "I do believe in Punarjanam, yet when I am dead and gone, I certainly do not wish to be born again. मुझे भगवान दोबारा जन्म नहीं दे तो ही अच्छा है. One lifetime is enough." The interview ended on this somber note, and today at 92, she is no more. While growing up in a household where the radio is always on, even till this date, I remember often asking my mom who was the singer of every song that I would hear on radio, and my mom would just very casually reply, "Lata Mangeshkar." And I would wonder, who is this lady who has sung every song on radio? Soon as I grew up, I realized that this lady was the voice of India. This was Lata Mangeshkar. What is your earliest memory of Lata Mangeshkar? Let me know in the comments. Also, I would love to know your thoughts on this video. Connect with me on Instagram and on Facebook. It's @ReviewRon. It's @Ronak Kotecha on Twitter as well. And you can of course like, share, subscribe and hit the bell icon if you have already subscribed to this channel. But as always, even if you don't do any of these things, thank you so much for watching this one. Please take care of yourself and those around you. Jai Hind.